without the support of our sisters, our brothers, in all over the world, scattered as refugees from their land, we shall never get that support that we need from these allies, even though we have signed contracts with them. And as I can assure you, my fellow brothers and sisters, we are ready with the facilities to launch into a training program for our young men and women who are willing to join Southern Cameroon Defense Forces, which is a force of the people. And we fully understand the history of all Southern Cameroonians. We have been in peace without fighting any war since we left Nigeria. But the war has been brought to us on our doorsteps. So even if we don't come out of our door, front door, that war will chase us down in our bedrooms. It's happening now. Even if you run out of your back door, that war will meet you in your back door. So at this current moment, what are our choices? What our choices are: either we stay and die peacefully, or we fight as warriors and die as a warrior. So we have an obligation here to support the few, the proud, and the patriots of Southern Cameroon who are willing to die for their nation. And with God's guidance, these few, these patriots, and these young Southern Cameroonians who are willing to mount cavalry shall be judged like the soldiers who defended the gates of Jerusalem. We must understand that the ability of one to defend himself or herself is an ability that was ordained by God himself. If you cannot defend yourself, God can't defend you, because God gave you the indomitable willpower to be able to see that for yourself, that you cannot allow a lion to devour you without even poking the eye of the lion. Sometimes you poke the eye of the lion, and the lion will feel the pain, and the lion will let go, and you'll go opposite directions. You don't have to be an Hercules to kill the lion. Just poke the eye of the lion. And those are the strategies that we need now. There's a lion in our homeland. What do? We can't allow that lion to devour all of us. We need to get some of our brave boys from Talgu, or from Jakiri, or from Mutengene, or from Kuma, Fiango, to go and hunt down that lion, even if they had to use bamboo spear. But first, before they go and hunt the lion, we need an old gentleman who used to be a hunter like George Gu. When I was growing up, there was a man called George Gu. He was a professional in shooting elephants in Guma. George Gu is an old man now and probably dead. But George Gu can sit some of, if George Gu is still alive today, we'll sit some of these young men and tell them how to take down that lion. So that is why we are here today, to round our young men and women and teach them how to poke the eye of that lion, which is Lion Public Cameroon. So my pledge again today is, we have secured the amenities and we have secured the space for training. We have these contracts out there to help our people to liberate their country. Now, my fellow brothers and sisters, those are some of the things that we have to consider when we are engaging in this fight. The fight is not for us, our generation, but the fight is for the future generations to come, and for the rest of the eternity for our homeland. So, we will be going into preparing the youths to acquire the skill set necessary for victory. There are 5 stages that we're going to be using to vet our youths in order for them to be able to qualify for these activities that's going to be necessary to free the country. First, we shall not engage in putting out sensitive strategic information on social media on how to come about achieving these goals. We have already stated, and we have had some encounters on the social media, tempted to give out strategic information, but we haven't. For that reason being, we don't want our strategies to be compromised. So we need this to be in total secrecy on how to go about vetting our young people. And I am prepared to die for my nation, But at this point in time, I am not prepared to send any young Southern Cameroonian to their death before they even start fighting. You're not gonna see them on social media. You will not see young Cameroonians lining up with rifles and stuff and saying that we are the soldiers about to go and attack La Republique. These young men and women have took an oath of secrecy, and the young men and women that are willing to join us will also assume that position of secrecy, because the people that will liberate Southern Cameroon will never be seen until that day when we have a victory parade in Buea. These people will never be on social media and shall never come to social media and give out the location where they are being trained or who is training them. But I can assure and guarantee you guys that we are the top level of these recruits. We will stand firm. We will put our face in front. We are not scared to die, but we shall not send our young men on the forefront without acquiring the skills first that they need. So we are doing this today openly because we are willing to sacrifice ourselves for these young men and not ourselves to become leaders or military generals or whatever you think of. Because the people to lead that country, be it the military leaders, be it the political leaders, are among these young men and women that we are fighting to assist them acquire those skills. So if you are a young Southern Cameroonian anywhere in the world that has the capacity or the capability to travel to any developed country without having problems, then you will qualify at the first stage of vetting, because our bases are based in countries that are going to require that. That is why we are here in the United States talking about recruiting and not in Buea or Bamenda. Because we need the people that are able to acquire the skills to be able to train the multitude of young people that are warriors all over Northwest and Southwest, that are anxious and willing to take this fight all the way to Mongo, where we will stop. We have absolutely no intention to become an offensive army. All our motivation is to protect, secure our territorial integrity. We are not after anybody who is not a Southern Cameroonian within the Southern Cameroon territory should not be scared that the Southern Cameroon Defense Forces will come and execute them or carry out barbaric acts as is being done upon us today. We are a people that are God-fearing, and we shall not, I repeat again, we shall not mete out the same type of brutality that has been meted upon us, because our nation is a conscious nation, and our nation shall remain a conscious nation, and we're going to always be on the side of right, and we shall stay out of the side of wrong, and we are guided by God. As I said, we're not going to engage in brutality. So if you are a Francophone or you are whoever in Southern Cameroon, none of Southern Cameroonian bed, don't be scared and think that we shall come there and carry out genocide against you. We will never do what they have done to us in a day. in Bamenda, in Kumba. We are not interested in attacking Francophones. We are not. When we are interested and we are motivated and we are determined to protect the life of innocent people dying within our territory. Thus, we shall also engage in protecting people before we ask for their identification cards. We're not going to ask, are you a Southern Cameroonian, before we protect you. We're going to protect every peaceful person who lives within Southern Cameroon borders shall be protected. We will sort out Southern Cameroonians on a later date when we are dealing with visas and all those civil issues. But the military, that is the aggressor to our people, we will try our very best to liquidate that military out of our territory. And if that military decide to take off their uniform and surrender to us, we shall treat them humanely under Geneva Conventions. Because we are a people that were brought up with Anglo-Saxon values, and those values respect the rule of law that applies to human beings universally. We shall not engage in torture. We shall not engage in genocide. We shall not engage in offensive wars. We shall only protect and secure our people within our territory. So, anybody out there who have the intention for propaganda to judge us or to advertise us falsely should take note. We are not what you, as a propaganda person out there in the Republic, we are not the person that you're going to describe. What you're going to describe is going to be the aggressor coming from the other side. So we want the world to take notice that this is a peaceful army that protects and secures. So with that said, that is what we are as Southern Cameroon Defense Forces. We will move on to the next phase of this, which is extremely important. And I know this part of it is going to be in everybody's mind. Okay, now, we have the Southern Cameroon Army that has just formed. People have not been seeing the members of the Southern Cameroon Army. They have been seeing... Now, I know people are wondering, how can we have an army without funding or without funds to raise up an army that's capable of challenging this well-trained, well-equipped military within Cameroon itself? Now, what I want to tell Southern Cameroonians is this. An army is different from a political organization, a political party, or a civil movement, or a civil society. Armies don't engage in fundraising by asking people to contribute money to build an army. The army is the army of the people. The people choose to build up an army. So we shall never come to our brothers and sisters and ask them to give money as a form of fundraising to build an army, because that will never be sufficient. We want to build an independent, industrialized army. An army that can write its own check. That is where we need brothers and sisters who have knowledge in building businesses to come with expertise to create an army like with the likes of the Chinese People's Army. Why do they call it the Chinese People's Army? Because the Chinese People's Army's budget comes from the Chinese People's Army. It doesn't come from the politicians in the Politburo in Beijing. That's an industrial army. So we are asking our fellow brothers and sisters to assist us in building an industrial army that will come into their pocketbooks. In the stuff we call GoFundMe, we are not interested in those kind of activities, because those activities will never be sufficient in generating the type of revenue needed to build an army.